Okay, I shared a simple and practical stakeholder register template in the previous video. Now I'll share tips and insights on how to perform stakeholder analysis and fill in the register. With good information and analysis, managing a project becomes less stressful, and you can position yourself as a professional PM. That's why watch until the end, because I'll share why it works this way. First, we have general information. Name, department, location, and role. It's easy to get this information from email signature of a person or their contact card. Or you can simply ask it during a call. But let's discuss the role column a bit more. Here you want to capture the actual role on the project, not the title of a person in an organization. So, for example, you have a Chief Technical Officer, CTO, on the client side. So he has broad spectrum of responsibilities inside client's organization. But what's his role in the project you do for that client? You see, he might act as a product owner and provide requirements. He might be a technical consultant or a controlling person who must sign off all the technical decisions. So you must identify their role. So as I said before, you should be ready that sometimes people will actively impose their role and their requirements on you. They will act like they know what to do. And by the way, you can also review a person's LinkedIn profile. It can tell you what the person deems vital in their role and profession. But likewise, sometimes you need to spell out your expectations towards a person's role. And occasionally you must correct the role and ensure that the person does what you expect them to do, not what they think is reasonable for the project. Next, you need to identify the preferred way of communicating. Usually you do it by observing their habits or asking directly. In most cases, the default is email or meetings. It's totally okay to test it out and see what works best for the stakeholder. But be sure that you are not biased here. It should be the stakeholder's preferred communication method, not yours. And now we're getting to the most critical part of the video. So if you are a project manager or want to become a project manager, click the like button. In return, YouTube will suggest more valuable videos like this one. So last time I introduced 4 unique columns: authority, interest, involvement, and impact. So authority comes directly from the person's title. Project owners have ultimate authority over the project because they pay for the project, so they decide what to do in general. But likewise, your boss may have lots of power to change your project management approach. On the other hand, interest describes how project and its outcome impact a stakeholder's life. Of course, project owners are most interested in the project success. However, your boss is also interested in project success because it benefits the business. But likewise, a person whose career is at stakes may have a high level of interest in your project. Or for example, people who will lose their job because of the software application you create can have high interest, but with a negative sign. Then we have involvement. It shows how much time a person dedicates to the project. You can describe it as a full-time commitment, an hour a day, a few hours a week, and so on. But it's important to note why they dedicate that amount of time. For sure, you can make a guess at the start of the project and adjust values as you go. And finally, the impact. It's an ability to contribute to project success positively. Impact comes from stakeholders' expert knowledge, reputation, and influence in the team and company. So now, what should you actually write in all those fields? I recommend that you adopt a free-form approach as you get to know a stakeholder. Don't get too prescriptive and don't label people. So, for example, John is a project owner. He has ultimate authority and interest in the project because the product we develop will make him lots of money. John is very busy, so his involvement is relatively low, about an hour a day. But he delegates a lot to his team. John has industry knowledge, but zero experience in software development. but his impact is still critical because he's the only subject matter expert we have. Or here's another example for a critical team member. Kate is a senior engineer. She has decent authority over the project because the team follows her lead. However, she's not interested because she doesn't like the product we develop. Kate is full-time on the project because she is assigned to it. Kate has a significant impact because she covers lots of critical tasks. And here comes the crucial part. You see, there is no formula or tool to help you precisely identify these characteristics in a stakeholder. It's always your best guess or a subjective feeling. That's why empathy is essential, because you need to understand people's fundamental motivations and stakeholders' attitudes towards your project. But I can almost hear you say, what should I do if I don't know a person? How do I fill in these columns? Actually, it's simple. You need to ask around. Then you need to communicate with other stakeholders or even interview the person directly to learn more about them. Obviously, you can't ask what is your level of interest or authority. Instead, you ask how they see their role and contribution to the project and company. Why do they participate in the project in the first place? Again, it will be your best guess, but it's totally fine to adjust these descriptions further down the road. So, to know more about people, you need to talk to people. Don't make the common mistake of trying to identify and analyze all stakeholders based solely on your perception of a person. Different people can give you different perspectives on the same person. And by the way, we didn't talk about how to identify all these stakeholders, but I covered it all in my online course. If you want to become a great project manager who knows how all these processes and tools work together, this course is for you. Check the link in the description. Okay, another crucial thing. It seems like a lot of work. You need to collect information and write out all these descriptions. I totally get it. But Pareto principle works here like with many other aspects of project management. So, 20% of stakeholders provide 80% of benefits and problems. That's why I recommend that you describe the top 10 stakeholders in detail at the start of the project. Moreover, out of these 10, there will be several stakeholders that you work with continuously. So you can reuse information from previous projects. And in the long run, it appears it's not that much work. So do the top 10 first. Then if you see another stakeholder who takes up a lot of your time, analyze them. With this analysis, it's much easier to develop an efficient engagement strategy. And again, we didn't cover the engagement strategies in this video, but I explain it all in my online course. But in any case, if you do this basic analysis and fill out your risk register, your stakeholders will love to work with you, because you address their pain points and help them achieve their goals. But I have to warn you, it's not a silver bullet. You will face stakeholders that are hard to deal with. They will make your project stressful. That's why I strongly recommend that you watch this video next. Click on the video and let's discuss an approach for dealing with difficult stakeholders. Thanks for watching, see you next time, bye bye.